Welcome back to Sandy Springs Today. I'm Wanda Buckley, and my guests today are Linda Ratto, ticket seller at the theater, and Christina Simple. They are both with the School of New Spirituality. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Destiny takes over.
Yeah, kind of interesting. You just never know how some things are going to turn out. We talked during the break, and I kind of got sidetracked. You were going to talk about something in Boston?
Yes.
Christina, what is that?
I was watching a program on A&E, and it was entitled...
I love that channel.
I love A&E, and it was a documentary on psychic children. And they're also known as indigo and crystal children, and these are children who are born very sensitive. They have incredible healing abilities. They are psychic. They might remember past lives. And these are children that are being born now. They're usually they're newborn till about 6 or 7 years old or a little bit younger. And this is what the documentary...
Is this kind of a new phenomenon that's happening?
It's not so much new. The crystal children are new, but the phenomenon itself is not new. Indigo children tend to be older, like preteen to about 25 years old. So it's not that old of a phenomenon, but it's also not that new. And this documentary was chronicling some children who are crystal children and about their lives and how they see the world, some of their psychic abilities and some of their healing abilities. So I was watching this program, and they talked about this place called A Place of Light, and it's in Cherry Valley, Massachusetts, right, about an hour away from Boston. And A Place of Light, it's a facility for children. It's almost like a daycare center for children, and these children, they do different activities. They might sit back to back, and one might be holding a certain kind of crystal or a certain kind of rock. Then the other child will try and guess what kind it is. They practice their healing abilities and things like that. So I was watching the show, and something said, you need to go. And I thought, I don't have a job. How am I going to go?
Rebecca, there's no job business, right?
Right. So that's the first thing that came into my head. I don't know how I'm going to go. I don't know why I'm going to go. But I ended up going, and some of the children that were on the documentary were absolutely phenomenal. On the outside, they look like normal children. They're jumping in piles of leaves because New England is beautiful in the fall and in October.
Right,
absolutely beautiful. And they were just playing, and these children they're fearless. And they're so outgoing, and they're just genuinely sweet and kind, and they see right through to you, right through your soul.
They have a presence.
They have a definite presence. And I remember this one little girl. She was about 3 or 4 years old. She had jet black hair, and she just had this smile, and she was just following me around the house. She didn't say anything, just kept following me around. So I walked down the stairs, and she just said, where'd you come from, and just talking to me. And she finally sat down next to me. She just put her hand on my knee. And I could just feel this little girl's spirit, and I could just feel her energy. And that's how all the children were. You could tell that they each brought something different to the world. Some of them were really outgoing. Some of them were just kind of quiet, but they just kind of touched you, and they just made you feel good. And they just made you feel like there is still good in the world. And you could tell that they were just so powerful.
Wow. I'm just
so
getting
this is absolutely the work that's going on in the world. We don't aim to label children.
The time that we're in.
However, there are children who just don't fit into what we might call the normal setting of anywhere, and honoring their gifts and listening to them is what we're about, just like the House of Light. So it's a beautiful experience that Christina is bringing back to us on Saturday. Saturday we're having a workshop on weekends for young people, and we're going to show that A&E program and talk about the dreams of Sandy Spring kids. So we hope that moms and dads and their children will come, or just drop the children off. For $5, we're going to have popcorn and movie and dream-making conversation, and create programs that the children want in Sandy Springs. And I know, as you said before, Wanda, that Sandy Springs is such an open place to be, that I welcome all of the children to come and talk to us about what they really would love to see as a program after school or on Saturdays, or maybe a field trip somewhere together. And we're about listening to young people and honoring their souls.
What movie are you playing this weekend? Do you know?
It's the documentary.
It is
on the House of Light.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how were these children? How were they selected? Do you know any of the background about how the documentary was done?
I think they just sign up to go to the school, and it is
so
a
this
haven.
is actually a school.
It's really
it's not so much a school.
A day school as much as a place.
Right. It's more of a meeting place. it's
for
minded children.
Like-minded.
Yes.
I didn't want to say minded, but kind of of the same ilk.
Similar
if you will.
children.
Yes.
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 And most of them are most of them, if not all of the children, are actually homeschooled. As we see,
kind of another growing phenomenon
Yes.
that we have here in this
Well,
country.
it's interesting. We have used labels as a indigo as a label. However, we actually unlabel once we're with the children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tricky thing to be labeled disabled or unabled or indigo even. And so we equalize that by listening to the kids and hearing what they want to do with
How
their
did this
lives.
indigo and crystal label even come about? This is new. I've not heard it before.
Well, I
But
think
what do I know?
author Doreen Virtue has been instrumental in identifying super sensitive children. They have an intuition.
That's it. Super sensitive. You and I were trying to struggle, and Linda just rolls it right out. Super sensitive children. That's very well put, Linda.
Well, thank you, darling. It's been working in the field for a while
here.
here.
I can tell. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Sandy Springs Today on www.radiosandysprings.com on the net, AM 1620 on your dial. We'll be back.